Hi, this is Kevin Thomas with the At Home Film Festival. Welcome to another episode. This is Black History Month and it's also the month of romance. So this week's episode is entitled Black Love Matters. I'm going to share with you 7 movies about Black love, and it matters. And this was such a tough list to come up with, just 7. I try to do 1 movie a day. You can always binge them, of course, but my festival is 1 movie a day. I try to pick a list, or make a list, that you can't just easily find by Googling. I try to also incorporate some good popular movies so you actually watch my show, and I try to uncover little gems. And I actually, when I made this list earlier this week, only 2 of those movies survived. I have 5 other ones on my list of 7. So I started doing some elimination by different ways so it's easier to just come up with 7. So like this movie that I love with Vanessa Williams, who I completely love, this is off the list because it's an interracial love story. It's Black love matters, not interracial love matters. That matters too, but that could be a theme for another time. I also try to eliminate movies that maybe had some tough subject matter and they ended up still falling in love, or maybe the ending wasn't so happy. In fact, right here, I'm going to give you a whole list of movies that I'm not including, but I like. Some of them almost made the list, but then I decided to cut films where it's the same actor or actress. I mean, I love Tasha Smith, but she doesn't need to be in 3 movies, right? Even though she is good. And I don't have Malcolm and Marie here. You're probably wondering why. Well, it just came out. It's trending so hot on Netflix. Why do I need to talk about it? I also cut out The Photograph, Issa Rae's movie, because she's got her own playlist on HBO, which of course includes her own movie. But I had to eliminate, not because they weren't good, I just only need to give 7 movies. Some of them aren't as good as movies I cut out, but they're relevant for reasons, and I will share that with you. So let's go look at our first movie on the list. Our first movie is Juanita, with the ever great Alfre Woodard. If you watch this movie, you might say, Kevin, you're already breaking your rules, because she ends up in a romance with a Native American, even though she fantasizes a lot about Blair Underwood. But I picked this movie not because of the romance she has with a man. She has self-love. She plays a mother who seems to live for her children, and at some point she decides to live for herself. She gives up these fantasies of Blair Underwood and moves on with her life, really, literally, puts a pin in the map, ends up going to this small little town. Nothing's going on there except for she shows them how to bake cook basic American food because they're a little highfalutin with their French cuisine in a town that doesn't appreciate it. She ends up just changing the lives and mindset of so many people. But it is a great love story, but it's mostly a love story where she loves herself. We all should love ourselves. In fact, the great song once said, learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. Name who sang that first, people. No, it wasn't Whitney Houston. It was George Benson. It was actually written for the movie The Greatest. I'm just pointing out this tidbit because that's a great song and didn't get an Oscar nomination. Anyway, let's go back to the festival, Kevin. Shut up! Oh, and Juanita's on Netflix, by the way. Our next film, Love by Accident, is one of those schmaltzy, overly romantic movies that just tug so hard at your heartstrings. But you know what? I love that type of movie. I am such a romantic sap. This is about a woman and her godmother on a road trip that, I hate to use the word literally again to make it sound like I'm a millennial that overuses that word, but she literally runs her vehicle into the donut shop. So they're stuck in this little town with a hot guy. She is such a book nerdy girl, and she really isn't out there living. She's just reading Jane Austen novels and living among those characters. Well, a situation happens where she has to pretend to be interested in this guy. Really sweet movie. The only thing not believable about a love movie like this is everybody eats donuts from that donut shop and they all look like that. I don't know how you could eat that many donuts and look good. But Love by Accident, you could find it on Prime for free. It's also on a more spiritual, religious network. Hopefully they don't hate the gays. If you find that out, I won't watch their movies again. Called Up Family Channel. So it's uplifting. So let's watch it. Our next movie is called Kane River. It was made in 1982 and it came out in 2020. What? So the writer-director Horace Jenkins, who won Emmys for his television work and documentaries, finished this film, went to one film festival, then he died. So it was kind of shelved because he wasn't there to get it out there. Anyway, it finally made it to the screen, and it's a really romantic, almost simple movie about people from different walks of life that meet in New Orleans. I like the fact, especially it was filmed in 1982, he's not a thug, he wants to be a poet. And their story is very interesting. Is it the greatest movie ever made? No. But is it kind of groundbreaking? Yes. And the reason it also made my list is you could view it for free on Canopy. A lot of people may not know what that streaming device is, but Canopy is an association with your local library. So if you have a library card, you could sign up for Canopy for free, and you could watch 5 movies a week for free. And these aren't 5 with commercials. It's like an Amazon Prime-ish, but for library people. But you don't have to be interrupted by commercials or edits. So I really like Canopy for that. So minimally, you should download Canopy with your library card. You should have one, and then you should watch Kane River. I'll see you there, okay? I don't know where happiness is a 4-letter word has been all my life. Maybe not all my life because it came out in the 2000s. But this is a South African black Sex and the City. One of them loves shoes. In fact, she owns a shoe store. Why doesn't Carrie from Sex and the City become her friend? It's only got 3 girls instead of 4, kind of like the way the Sex and the City is going these days. But these are 3 accomplished women who have good careers, have a great, strong friendship, and are married or dating or cheating on men. Oh, the men are so interesting and sexy. This is not a carbon copy of Sex and the City. It's its own movie. Besides, if you really study, there are only 7 archetypes of plot, so you have to follow one of them, so why not follow the same as Sex and the City? I really, really enjoyed this movie. This is available on Amazon Prime. You should really watch it. It's sexy, it's stylish, it's well acted. Everything about happiness is a 4-letter word. There's one of them. Is really, really a good movie. I cannot believe I never heard of it till I researched for this show. So I'm so glad to find it. The Seat Filler, also available for free on Prime, is a really sweet, lighthearted film, which I love the idea of it because it's about people whose career is to fill the seats at award shows. In case you didn't know, the theater always has to look packed. So if like a star like Kelly Rowland, who's in this movie, has to go to the bathroom, someone has to sit in her seat while she's gone. Can you imagine you could make a career out of that? Most people do it as a side career or extra income, but of course the fun plot of this is she sits next to this seat filler who is a wannabe attorney, and he pretends to be more than he is. He gets in so much trouble in this movie as his pretend life is catching up to him. It's very fun and sweet, extremely romantic, so it's totally worth watching this month and this week for Valentine's Day. And her male star, Dwayne Martin, also co-wrote the screenplay with Tisha Campbell. Interesting. Oh, I loved it so. This next movie almost breaks my rules because a lot of heavy things happen in this film, but at the end of the day, it's still very romantic. Daddy's Little Girls with Idris Elba. Who would not want to watch a movie that's romantic with him? He has 3 little girls, so more of the love story is him being a dad. But of course, it doesn't hurt that he meets up with Gabrielle Union. This is a Tyler Perry film, so you know there's a lot of hot guys thrown in the background, including Brian White. Who? Brian White, oh, he's in a lot of Tyler Perry movies. He has a small funny part in this, but he's super sexy. We also got Lou Gossett Jr. in this film. We have that Tasha Smith who I mentioned. I had to keep cutting films out of this thing because she was in all of them. Usually she's the fun bitch that fights for her friends and her rights, but this one, she is a mean mother. And I mean a mean mother. He has to get his kids away from her. She's heavily involved with an abusive man who's involved in the drug scene. But in the meantime, if you got Showtime, you could watch it for free, or you could buy it for $4.99 on Amazon. But there are many, many good Tyler Perry movies that I love. They always have hot men. There's always a 10-minute religious moment. And they always are very emotional. Why would I get married? Or why did I get married? Why did I get married to? I Can Do Bad All By Myself. There's so many of them that don't involve Medea. For this festival, it was between this and Good Deeds, but I decided to pick this because it doesn't hurt looking at Idris Elba. So if you're counting down with me, I've done 6 movies. I wonder what our final one is. What did I miss of your favorites? Give me comments below, please. I would love to hear what you think. And don't just find movies from some other list. Find something inventive for me. So movies that didn't quite make the cut. First of all, there's Baggage Claim. I've almost screened this many times. I just think this movie is super cute. Taye Diggs is a favorite, but Paula Patton's in it, who I love. She happens to be in another movie that I'm going to screen, so I didn't want to make this the Paula Patton show. But this is really a cute movie. It did not make the cut. You know what else did not make the cut? Almost, though. You ready? Yes, another Paula Patton movie, Jumping the Broom. Oh my God. Look at the men in her life. This didn't make it because, once again, I couldn't overdo my Paula Patton films. And I also thought, thanks to my friend Vivian, sometime this month I will do a wedding-themed festival. So let's save this one for that. And that Laz Alonso is really nice to look at, isn't he? Oddly, when I do the gay wedding-themed issue, I'm going to do Noah's Ark, Jumping the Broom. Yes, there's 2 movies called Jumping the Broom. This is a gay one. But I'm not doing it this week because we still are only doing 7 movies. So what's our final film? Let's look and find out what it is and why it's chosen. Our final movie this week for Black Lives Matters is Just Right with Queen Latifah. She's my girl. I love Queen Latifah. I almost did different movies of hers. I've done Last Holiday before, which I think is ultra romantic, so I couldn't repeat that. I almost said Girls Trip, which is a great romance of friendship, but I decided to include Just Right, because we also got our Paula Patton. Do you see her there? So we got our Paula Patton, we got Queen Latifah, I think we also have Laz Alonso in this movie, and Common. So this is a very interesting story where Queen is a physical therapist and she does sports medicine. And so she ends up getting mixed up with Common, who is a professional basketball player. And of course, her hot friend, Paula Patton, decides that she needs to date him. So she kind of uses Queen to get to Common. But maybe that's not the love story in the movie. Have we thought of that? Anyway, this is really good. You can watch a whole bunch of Queen Latifah movies with me. This one is on Prime, so check it out. In the meantime, I would love comments below. What movies did I miss that are unheard of? What other themes do you think are romantic that I could do in the future? Please share, subscribe, and get your friends to subscribe. Anyway, I will see you next week with one of my other romantic themes. I already know what it is, but do you?